You know, Alice was in prison for doing something that today probably wouldn't even be prosecuted. You've been an inspiration to people. And we're going to be listening to your recommendation on pardons. You're going to go over and she's going to be my pardon czar. Okay? And you're going to find people just like you that should not have happened.
An incredible story gets even more incredible. President Trump appoints a woman he pardoned during his first term as his pardon czar.
Man, that's some incredible stuff right there. When would a Democratic president, one of our Democrats, ever appoint a person who was once on the wrong side of the law to be an advisor, to give him recommendations to pardon people? It's like, and this is a lady with brown skin. That is some beautiful shit to see, because I know damn well Joe Biden would never do it. But he's okay with pardoning his son, getting his son off. But allowing a person that voice and that opportunity, and no one would know it better than someone who's been on the wrong end of the law here in the United States. And for him to give her that opportunity, that's some incredible shit.
The announcement coming during a Black History Month event at the White House, and we are honored to have Alice Marie Johnson join us now. Alice, thank you for joining us from your wonderful town of Olive Branch, Tennessee. Let's look back just for a moment at the Oval Office where you were pardoned. Watch.
She has been just so outstanding, and I'm so proud of you. And we're giving Alice a full pardon, and that means you can do whatever you want in life and just keep doing the great job you're doing.
It's his first term. He pardoned this lady about 7 years ago. And nobody really is paying a whole lot of attention to some of the pardons that Trump is. That's why a lot of these rappers, I think, is storming the White House and trying to get pardoned, because he might be okay to do that kind of stuff. But real people who really deserve pardons, not people who became millionaires and did dumb shit and got convicted for it and getting love, which is still, you know, something that a Democratic would never do. A Democrat would never do no shit like that. Can you imagine Biden doing some shit like that? Hell nah. That'd never happen. But the point is, he appears to have formed a bond with this lady. You know what I mean? He didn't know who she was. And thank God someone brought her story before him. And that's usually all it takes. If you're in a position to pardon people, if you have that kind of power, and you know we are a nation with an unjust criminal justice system, you think it would be wise to have a pardon czar or some court in some way. That's what they do. But they review shit. They review and go back and make sure everything was done right. Because these are people's lives you're talking about. But when they put you in jail and they don't continuously review to make sure they didn't make no mistakes, to make sure that everything didn't go right. And this ain't what this is. This is not what this is. But to have a person who has a line of communication to the president of the United States, and I wish could be me. I wish it could be a black person who had more information and more knowledge on injustice to give him. But some of his picks ain't the best. But he's picking a lady who has walked that walk. So she would be in the running if you could find a scholar or somebody who might win out over her. But if they didn't, you would totally understand. She has lived, it's lived. And Trump is acknowledging this shit, though. That right there is just a miracle in itself. When you look at the United States government, they got us so brainwashed and so fucked up. When we see stuff like this, we frown upon it and don't like it. He don't know what he doing. He picking somebody. He picked people who you would not pick. I wouldn't pick, because I would pick who the Democrats have been picking, who what I've seen done in this country. That's what I'm in the mindset of. This guy is doing what probably should be done. Something different than what we've been doing. We live in the middle of these cities that are run by Democrats, and all the wrongful convictions that take place in these municipalities. We can say whatever we want to say about the Republicans, But it's our Democrats who are putting us in prison. It's our Democrats when you're getting released from the county jail who got their deputies and all those fucking county people making faces at you and making fun of you and saying, see you later, thinking as soon as you get out, you're going to just go do something and come right back, because they know there is nothing out there that's going to keep you out there. There's only shit out there that's going to get you back. And they know it. And no one's trying to change it. In all these Democrat cities, these mayors, these governors, and you know who they're spending their money on? The illegal immigrants. People coming home from prison are not their priority. There should be a place where people freshly coming home from prison, because you could definitely, especially depending on what you were charged or imprisoned for, be estranged from your family. You may not have a support system. And they just locked your ass up and then let your ass out and ready to lock your ass back up again, because how long are you going to last without a proper reentry system that the Democrats fail to address because they're too busy working on illegal immigration and brainwashing us into believing, well, none of us have ever been illegal immigrants. Speaking of black people, none of us have ever been illegal immigrants. We were brought over here as slaves. And with that in mind, we have no relationship with that. We can't understand that, but we do know what it's like for our family members and neighbors and friends and classmates to go to prison, to be locked up, and then to be released. And you might 3 or 4 years or 5 years just as an afterthought, or they might come up in a conversation and say, hey, I wonder how, Pugnacious is doing. And people say, wow, yeah, I know. I haven't heard from Pug in a while. And it's because nobody checks up on you. You just got released from prison, and we pray and hope you all do good. But they don't have nothing coming but the traffic going in. Once they let you out, they hoping your ass reoffend. And the chances of reoffending are greater because you're being tracked. You're being actually under more of a watch from our United States government than the illegal immigrants are. We should push the Democrats after the mistake that they made in incarcerating us. And they were just talking about the other day, I'm going to have to do a show on it, Trump walking back some Biden era policies that having to do with prison reform. What could Biden have possibly fucking reformed that anybody could come in behind and make work? Fuck that. Biden shouldn't touch the prison system in any way. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. And he could have made big gains in correcting the shit he fucked up back in the 90s, but he doesn't want to. He didn't want to. He's never wanted to. Or he could have did it. And people who think that this political system that we live in moves slow, it's because they make it move slow. They don't want to do nothing fast for you, and they don't want to see anybody moving fast for you, because it will wake your fucking ass up to the fact that they can move fast if they want to. They just don't want to. Why is Trump moving fast and the rest of them are moving like in slow motion? Because it's intentional. It's sort of you accept failure. It's you accept not getting shit. Oh, yeah, they couldn't include us because they had to do can't you walk and chew gum at the same time? Can you get a team together working on the medical that Obama wanted, and then another team over here fucking defending the LGBTQ plus community, with another one over here working for the black people, with another committee over here working for wrongfully incarcerated people? Can you do a whole bunch of shit? You're the fucking president, and you are not doing any of that shit yourself. So what does it just take you to concentrate and focus on one group at a time? You should be able to manage a few things going on so that we can have some real movement. Because look what the fuck Trump is doing. And they even have the Democrats whining and crying because it's change. We don't know if it's going to work or not work. But what they was doing, that didn't work. If you guys think that worked, then we got a problem. We don't even know what fucking success looks like. If we really believe that being locked up at the rates that we get locked up at, being fucked up and fucked over when it comes to the real jobs and the real opportunities and the real opportunities for business ownership. All these things we see every day in our goddamn life. We see our bank accounts with the lease. We see the deeds on the properties in the United States of America with our names signed to the bottom, the leased. We see every fucking thing the leased, and we still fighting not to change from that. We do not want to go away from it. Why? Because the Democrats got us fucked up. And they got Jasmine Crockett and folks like her out there, like she say, playing in our face. Yeah, she's playing in our fucking face to be one of us and be trying to lure us into a Democratic trap. And don't believe me. Listen to the last time something black came out of her mouth that she's going to do specifically for fucking black people. Not a goddamn thing. Because she's just in it for the Democrats. She's in it because she said early on, she went to a party at Kamala Harris's house and she was kind of figuring she made the wrong motherfucking decision on this shit. She said it out her own mouth. I just don't think Congress was for me. I don't think I did the right thing. And she's standing at the party kind of by herself, and Kamala came over and said, "Hey, dear, what's going on? You okay? I noticed you're off to yourself." And she was like, "Well, I just don't really feel like I fit in. I just don't, because I really do believe that Jasmine Crockett came up there with a different mentality and a different mindset. And this was the meeting that fucked her up." Kamala put her arm around her and said, "Here, drink this." Probably some puff shit, got her fucked up, and then said, "You're going to be fine." And that's when Kamala went to the other Democrats and said, "She just wants you guys to reach out." And they reached the fuck out. And they can't shut her fucking ass up about the Democratic Party. She's pledging for the wrong team. She need to have that kind of spark and that kind of fire as a black leader, as a black congresswoman. But she can't, because she won't last. They wouldn't have embraced her. Kamala wouldn't have said, "She's okay, you guys, bring her in." Remember Kamala made her national chair for her campaign or something. That campaign was some straight bullshit. But anyway, we need to make sure that our prison systems are being taken care of by our government and in the communities. We so mad at the Republicans. We so busy looking at the Republicans, and they are fucked up. Don't get me wrong. They are, for real. They ain't helping black people a whole lot. But this one president here is doing in small measures things no one else has ever done that they could have done. That's what's bothering me the most. And not that they did exactly what he's doing. They have the opportunity to do what they want to do. But in any measures. But then they haven't done them in any measures. They just hold us on to it. It's such of an illusion and such trickery that why would they let it go? Why would they stop? And then they have other black people playing party to it, helping them do it. We don't get it. We mad about it. I know the comments have been tripping me out sometimes, with some people really thinking that Trump is so racist that we shouldn't even talk to him. But Biden isn't.
Alice, this is an amazing day for you, and I imagine that you replayed that moment in your mind a lot. What does it mean for you now to be the pardon czar? What do you plan to do with that power?
Well, I plan to fulfill the trust that the president has placed in me. He's given me specific marching orders. And actually, Dana, from the time I've been working on this nonstop since my release, this is really a continuation of the work that I've already been doing. I've brought many pardon cases before the president in the past. And one thing I can say about President Trump, he was very interested in their families. He wanted to know if they have a solid reentry program in place. I wanted to make sure that I brought him the best candidates, because what is happening in this nation is really sending a message to the world that we care about the least of his people.
Alice, since you hear from a lot of people and you look at all of these cases, in your minds, what are the couple of things that really make for a solid reentry plan?
Well, I have to make sure that the communities are ready to receive them. My number one thing in recommendations is safety in the communities. I want to make sure that they have jobs that they're ready to go home to, that they have the ability not only for a second chance, Dana, but for their best chance of success. And then it takes follow-up, because I don't want to help people come home and then at the same time they're set up for failure. We'll be making sure that we check in with them, not in concert with probation, not to catch them doing something wrong, but to make sure that they have things that will help them make right decisions.
Yeah, that's a novel approach. Isn't that something, the only contact that people who get out of prison or jail or wherever the fuck they get out of, all that only contact is to check up on them, drug test them, and ask them, oh, did you get a job yet? Oh, are you enrolled in school? Not to enroll them in school, but mandate it. Make sure your ass got to enroll in school, but don't give them the tools or the motivation or the education or the help. They might can go enroll in school. They might go get a job. But with a little support, they could probably enroll in a better school and maybe take a different course or get a better job and make more money. But just to make sure they have a job, fuck, that could be McDonald's. There should be standards and there should be assistance to get to those standards, as opposed to this bullshit we doing now. And we like Biden, and Biden gave a fuck. And even if he did make the mistake of locking up a lot of black people, even if he did, but he came back and had some kind of revolutionary way of reentry. And we looked at that like, wow, that's redemption. That's something, to step back in the right direction. No, Biden never tried to do that shit. He didn't give a fuck. And to me, on the way out the door, he was giving us the fuck you finger, basically, because he was doing a whole lot of shit on his way out. And you would have think that we supposed to be on the left, as far as black people, of the Democratic Party, which I don't know why we'd be a part of a fucking party where we considered way out there, a rudder or whatever the fuck we are, on the way out on the left. Why would we even accept that? The Democratic Party right in our face. It's just been like doing nothing for us, and we just sitting here taking it and arguing with people who are speaking logic to you and common sense to you, saying you live in a Democratic city, a Democratic run city. I'm sorry. You live in one, and you think that when black men get out of prison, they do the best for them? Compare a black man getting out of prison, immigrants sneaking into the country. Compare to where they end up. The black man getting out of prison has a greater chance to fail and to end up probably back in prison than the immigrant who came into the country does of being deported back out. The immigrant will probably go on to become a United States citizen. He'll probably go on to own a business or get a job where he'll be able to feed his family. And he'll probably spend the entirety of his adult life out of prison. So why would an immigrant do better in the United States of America than a descendant of slaves? And the last 4 years was occupied by a Democrat. And we okay with that shit. And if we had it our way, we'd have took him for another 4. We need to start thinking about that kind of shit.
Includes making sure that they have mental health, because sometimes when you've been in prison for long years, you need to reintegrate and it affects you mentally. So we want to make sure that those people who are coming home, that they have good family support. And if they don't have family, they have good faith support. I plan to work with Paula White in her faith initiative. I plan to work with Pam Bundy. Both of these ladies are very good friends of mine. I've worked with Brooke Rollins in the past. I've worked with Ivanka, with Jared. Many of those who have been appointed are people, individuals who I've already worked with, who know my track record. And this trust that the president has placed in me was not trust that was a spur of a moment or selected me because he pardoned me. We actually have worked together. I consider myself.
Damn. That lady said we have actually worked together. She has been able to sit down and have the president's ear. She's just a regular citizen. If you can appeal to, I think that's where I'm hopeful. Because it just seemed like if you can appeal to Trump, if you can say something or do something that brings his attention to you and you get your moment, you got to do something with it. You know, remember the young black girl during his campaign was working at the chicken place, and he went in and she got to get up and tell her story on the Republican RNC stage. I mean, it's like those kind of opportunities don't come around very often. And we as black people are so locked in on the Democratic Party, and they don't do anything special for us. They don't make us feel special. In fact, I'm telling you, and it's starting to sink in more and more every day that they are really pulling hard for these immigrants to come in this country and acting like things that are illegal are legal. And it's like, it is not legal what you guys have been doing with these illegal immigrants. It's not. And it shouldn't be done at our expense. Well, Black Popcorn, what do you mean at our expense? That fucking money could be going to us. That's what I mean.
A friend of the president. I've even flown on Air Force One with him before Dana. And while there, he said to his wife, would you believe that Alice just convinced me to release 5 people? So he knows I've got almost 7 years free. I've been able to work across the political divide. I've met with governors. I've met with families. So I'm ready. I'm ready on day one. I was ready. In fact, I started the work before he even made an announcement, because before he stepped back into office, before the American citizens made their choice loud and clear, President Trump had given me a call almost 2 years ago. And he said to me, Alice, when I go back, I'm taking you with me. When he said that, Dana, I already knew he was going back. I knew that he was going back. I began putting together plans and getting ready for that moment that I will go back with him.
Now, this lady here wasn't working in any official capacity, but even prior to him recently, a day or two ago, announcing her as his border. I think his borders are, but as his pardon czar. And as his pardon czar, you have to think, damn, that's a position where she can be helpful to people, even if it might be in the grand scheme of things a handful of people. But those are lives that can be corrected and changed and turned around and altered by this opportunity. To think that he's extending that kind of opportunity and that kind of power in a person to help people who have been put in a situation that they themselves know very well, as opposed to Joe Biden. Joe Biden would never ever do nothing like this, because it has to be. There is a line, and you guys don't see it, but you gotta feel it. You gotta be able to feel it. And Trump, in a lot of areas, is crossing that line, and it gives me hope that we can go and sit down and holler at that dude from our perspective, not for like we coming to support you unless you have something for us. And then, yeah, we can start talking about that support. We can start talking about us. We can start talking about a third fucking term. You start giving us some shit and watch what else we can talk about. And people, oh, no. What, Trump is a United States citizen. This motherfucker grew up in America like us. What is the problem? I see warmth. I see opportunity. I see a door that ain't locked. That's what I see.
Alice Marie Johnson, no doubt we are going to see more of you, and we were honored to have you on our show today. Congratulations on your new position. We know that you are going to hit the ground running. As you said, you are already ready. Thanks, Alice. Take care.
And all we got to do is just get our shit together and learn that we're adults now. Trump isn't a stranger. We can talk to him. There's no stranger danger there. If we talking to him as adults, we can't be tricked. We know what we need and what we ain't been getting. He gonna talk shit about the Democrats, validly so. They can say whatever they want to say about him. There's some validity to that too. But he'll put Kamala Harris in position as his VP and give her less power than Donald Trump is given the pardons are. When I say power, I mean the ability to help your people, the ability to help people who you identify with, to change lives that really matter to you on your level, and not lives that he would never even know about if it wasn't for you. Kamala Harris and anybody else of the black faces in high places have very little power to do anything for their own people, or they don't have any will. It's one of the two, but either way, it ain't getting done. So I admire the fact that he opens himself up, and he's the one who's got to bear the brunt of that responsibility. If this lady helps him pardon somebody and they go out and kill 8 or 9 people, that's going to come back on him. Yeah, all they're going to do is say, what an idiot. He look at him, he pardoned these people and they went out and killed. He gets it. It is what it is. I think he understands that clearly. But I just can't understand why we would be more against the guy who we're more apt to make some inroads with, as opposed to being locked in with the guy who we absolutely know wasn't going to budge as far as we're concerned, who's willing to make the infrastructure stronger for illegal immigrants by offering classes to them to take to incorporate into the American society. You know what I'm saying? But think about the black man getting out of prison. Where's his classes? Where's his resources? Where's his guaranteed room and board in a hotel and a job to go to? You guys have employers in this country who feel safer hiring an illegal immigrant who doesn't even speak English than you do hiring a black man who does speak English, who's a citizen in this country legally. So we got to start fighting for the right people, y'all. Supporting the right causes and coming into our own as far as reuniting with black people so that we can bounce around from topic to topic as they suit us and not get locked in with a party so we have to take all that bad shit with a very little bit of good. I'd rather deal with them on a case-by-case basis and on an issue-by-issue basis as a people and kind of back away from all that other shit. Trump them can handle it, and Biden and their folks, they can handle it. We don't need to be all up in all that. We need to get our shit right so that our infrastructure starts to make sense to us and look good to us. And we know that we'll be leaving things in our lineage that'll be beautiful to look back on, and a history that our kids won't have to fight and have legislators telling them what they can learn and can't learn. And believe me, folks, the crumbling of the Department of Education is not anything we need to be afraid of at all. No one can tell you what to teach your kids or what not to teach your kids. And with that, the Department of Education, we can't continue to trust them to educate our kids. We have to do it ourselves. In everyday life, take them fucking fishing. Sit next to them with a fishing pole and let them just fucking go on. Give them some grape soda and listen to them. You know, I mean, it can happen, and it's got to happen. Shit. Because Trump is actually running circles around. This motherfucker been president 30 days, and he is fucking making Biden look terrible. And maybe it's a lot too fast, but we all duped into believing that the wheels turn so slow, and they don't. They make them turn slow. They could push that gas pedal down. You notice Trump done pushed that shit down, and I like it. We need to see, so we can see some things that's going to crack right now and not be just dragging this bullshit along. And pay attention to the pardons. I mean, that kind of shit is important stuff. And other opportunities, not just this lady, but anybody now could get a hold of her a lot easier than you could a normal bureaucrat. And she'd be willing to hear your story or hear what you got to say and take some kind of action if necessary or if possible. That's all. Just some beautiful shit. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.